Are you overwhelmed at the thought of homeschooling with a baby on your hip? The nap times and feedings and crying and crawling and putting everything in their mouths? Well, I get it. I've been there twice, and I want you to know that it can be done and it can be beautiful. And in this video, I'm going to share with you some simple, real life strategies to help you homeschool confidently, even with your little one around. My first tip for you is to start your day with prayer. Begin every day just by inviting God into it. It doesn't have to be a long prayer. It might be a prayer that you pray when you're up in the early hours in the morning, feeding that sweet little one. Or it could be a prayer that you pray while you're chasing around a baby that refuses to be still so you can put their diaper back on. Or it could be you're sleepy-eyed because you've been up with a teething baby. Whatever it is, just whisper a prayer and say, God, give me wisdom today. Help me through this day. Help me to know what to do. Help me to have a heart that's flexible. Help me to have a heart filled with grace. Tip number 2 is to stay flexible. Now, Mama, you've got this because you're a mom and you know how to be flexible. You know how to shift and adjust to meet your children's needs. And you're a homeschool mom. And so you know about what your child needs. It might not be what everybody else needs. So you know about flexibility. It is within you already. And so you're just going to kick that up a notch and lean into that more. Remind yourself, I will be flexible today. Maybe you need a sticky note on the fridge or write it on your bathroom mirror. And you're going to be flexible, more flexible in this season. You got this. Here's some strategies for staying flexible. One of the things that I recommend to all homeschool moms, but especially those with little ones, is to think routine over schedule. Now, I've done a whole video about that, and I'll link it in the description below in case you want to check that out too. But routine is the same sequence of events, but it's not tied to the clock like a schedule is. A schedule says we're going to start our day at 8 o'clock with devotions. At 8:15, we're going to do our calendar map. At 8:30, we're going to do a read aloud, and then we'll go into our reading lesson. And at 9 o'clock, we're going to take a break. The routine says when we get up and get ready, we're going to start our day around 8-ish. It might be 7:45 because the baby's sleeping in, or it might be 8:15 because the baby was fussing and took more time this morning. And then when we're finished with devotions, we're going to do calendar math. And then after calendar math, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go into our read aloud, and then we're going to go into our break when we need that. And so it's the same sequence of events, which gives your children the security of that routine, but you're not tied to the clock and trying to make everything fit and adding that extra stress to you and your kids that's just not needed in this season. You're going to create that routine around your little one's schedule. Now, whatever worked before or whatever you want to do might not work perfectly right here, and that's okay. So think about what your little one needs, and maybe you can do read alouds during feeding time. This is about the time the baby eats. The baby's going to be quiet then, so it's going to be easy for me to read aloud to you or you to read aloud to me. Maybe that math is going to happen during nap time, or science experiments, all that hands-on stuff and the mess everywhere. We're going to wait till the little one is taking a nap, and then we're going to do science during that nap time. Remember to adapt that schedule to your little one's changing needs. Okay, so whatever you create in August and September may not carry you all the way through May. When there's a transition from 2 naps to 1, or when there's a transition, now the little one is crawling and scooting and walking, and so we're going to have to shift the way that we do this. It's okay. Just know going into this that that's going to have to happen, and you're going to have to create a new schedule, a new routine for your family. Shift it a little bit. This is where flexibility comes in. You're teaching your older children flexibility as well, and they'll survive. They can shift with you as well. Know that some stages are going to require more flexibility than others. I've mentioned teething. When you got your little one and they're up and they're fussing and they're harder to soothe, that's going to be the time you're not going to be able to do as in-depth a social studies discussion because you got this little one fussing. And that's all right. You can pause that, do it at another time. Shift those discussions to when that teething is over. Whatever you need to do, make sure you shift according to your little one's needs and those stages where they have greater needs and they demand more attention. They didn't sleep well, they're fussy, their tummy is hurting, whatever. It's okay to adjust and adapt and let that little one have a little bit more of your time. Let school just be a little bit lighter those days. It's all going to work out. Don't worry. And don't be afraid to do school in non-traditional ways. Maybe you need to sit on the couch and do school there. Maybe you're going to do school outside on the porch or on the deck. Maybe your toddler just needs to run around, and you're going to sit and read do school with your older school-age child while the toddler gets some of that excess energy out. Maybe you're going to listen to an audiobook or have a discussion while you're strolling the baby through the neighborhood. Whatever you need to do, be flexible in this season, and it will work. Tip number 3 is to set realistic expectations. So homeschooling at this stage is not going to look picture perfect, and that's okay. Right now in this season, we're going to focus on consistency over perfection. So you're going to look at all of those perfect plans you have and ball them up and throw them away and just go with the flow here. We've talked about flexibility, but you're going to set your expectations for what you know you can accomplish. You're going to do shorter lessons that are more focused and to the point. Keep those lessons brief so that you can pivot when your little one needs you. Save the in-depth stuff for nap time or when there are reinforcements around to help. And as long as your school-age child is making progress, know that you are doing okay. Tip number 4 is baby wearing. Now, this is something that's so simple, you might just think this is not a big deal, but it's huge because, well, you've got baby strapped close to you, you've got hands-free to do a cooking lesson, a science experiment, to hold the book for the read aloud. Baby feels like they're included, they're safe, they're calm, and your school-age child is getting their needs met. Y'all, I have even taught sign language lessons with a baby strapped to me. It's so effective. It really, really works, and it really helps you to be able to multitask. Tip number 5 is to keep your toddler busy. So when your toddler is busy and engaged, you are able to focus on that school-age child and getting their lessons done there. And there are a couple of strategies that I'm going to give you for keeping your toddler busy. One is to create a school box or a busy box for your toddler. And you can check these out on Pinterest. There's lots of ideas out there of ways to do this. But you create some kind of box or bin or tote that's got toys, books, games, puzzles, maybe even snacks for your little one that's going to keep them busy, occupied, happy without you having to be there to do everything with them. So they're doing their school time, and you can even call it school, and they're busy, they're engaged, they're doing a puzzle. It could be an ABC puzzle. It could be a touchy-feely book. It could be any kind of sensory bin. There are all kinds of things that you can create and put together. Change these boxes out. Some people do them Monday through Friday, so they have a different box for each day of the week. And some people just have a busy box that they use for a short period of time, and then they rotate the items in that every couple of days. So either way, you want to keep it fresh so that your toddler looks forward to it. And a tip for this is when school time is over, put that box away. Put that busy box on a shelf or under the bed, out of the toddler's sight and reach, so that they have their regular toys to play with. And next time it's time for school, they're excited and they're looking forward to doing their school, their busy box, while you're able to teach your school-age child. Another tip for this season is to allow your toddler to join in school. Now, this is I would think the highlight of my homeschooling with little ones. This was such a delightful time. This was such a fun time. And this is probably my best tip for you. My most heartfelt tip for you is to include those little ones as much as you can. So we have lots of fun, wonderful memories where the big kids are using their laptops and they're working, and the little one would go and get her little pink plastic laptop. And even if it didn't even have batteries in it, she was moving the mouse and she was typing, and she was sure she was doing school just like them. Or when my kindergartner was learning to do tally marks with popsicle sticks, and she's laying them out on the table, and the baby has got her own little stack of popsicle sticks, and she's dropping them on the floor, and she's sticking them in her mouth, and she's stacking them up. She thought she was doing school. She thought she was in kindergarten too. And it was great fun. It was such bonding, and it was such a connection. When my kindergartner was doing patterning or counting or adding with Unifix cubes, the baby was, again, stacking them together, dropping them on the floor, putting them in her mouth, and she was engaged. She was right there with us, and so all of the things that I was saying, she was taking them in. She was learning, and she was ready to go when it was her turn for kindergarten. And so my middle schooler, she was reading a novel and the baby wanted to sit on her lap. So her baby sister crawls up in her lap and says, read to me. And she's like, this is the Diary of Anne Frank. You really don't want to hear this story. This is not the books you're used to. But she read to her anyway. And she read it in kind of a sing-songy voice, like she would read other things to her sister. But she was reading her textbook, her novel, and she was doing it in such a cool way, and included her sister in the learning. And the toddler sister thought, I'm a part of this. The kids will scribble. The younger ones would scribble when their sisters were writing. They would pretend to read books when their big sisters were reading books. They would learn to quote Bible verses right along with us, even if they didn't get them all quite right. They would learn to sing songs. They would learn to count. They would learn to rhyme. All of the things that they were seeing their big sisters model. And so it's a really cool time and a neat experience when you can include and involve your little ones in school. Tip number 6 is to let your school-age children help with the little ones. Now, this is great if you have more than one school-age child and one can do something with the little one while you're teaching the other one and kind of switch out. But it doesn't even have to be like that. I love when the bigger children teach the babies. I have a picture of my kindergartner teaching her little sister, and she's pointing to the board and she's teaching her how to spell the kindergartner's name. And the baby is just sitting there drooling and participating at her level. But the little ones can help you. They can feed the baby while you're reading aloud. They can baby wear. They can do other things to help engage the baby, the toddler. They can help your little one to feel included or to be busy or whatever it is, so that you are able to teach when you need to. This builds leadership, this builds confidence, and this reinforces their learning as well. It's so neat to see, especially early childhood kids, kindergarten, first, second grade, teaching the babies what they've learned. Repeat after me, say this. And I've got, so many sweet memories of my children teaching their younger siblings something, and it reinforces what they've learned. It shows me what they've learned, and it just builds such deep family connections. Tip number 7 is to use nap time wisely. Now, I've already mentioned nap time a couple of times, so I won't camp out here very long, but this is a glorious, wonderful time of peace and quiet. And so you want to prioritize your most focused work, and whether that is writing, math, science, whatever it is, that the core subject, the in-depth things, the difficult thing for your school-age child, whatever it is that they need the least amount of distraction, you're going to use that nap time for those things. Tip number 8 is to utilize technology. Now, I personally use computers, tablets, and TVs sparingly in my home, but during the baby years, things like audiobooks, educational videos, and learning apps can be a lifesaver when you have to take the baby out of the room to comfort and soothe, or you've got to change a diaper or something like that. It's a great way to help fill in the gaps where you just can't do everything. And speaking of filling in the gaps, tip number 9 is enlist help where you can. So if your husband, your friend, your neighbor, your mom, a sweet lady at church, or even a homeschool teen or tween can jump in and help you, I suggest that you use that. And there are a lot of different ways that this can look. So we were blessed in one season to have a homeschool teen come to our house, and she worked as a mother's helper. I didn't leave her alone with the kids, but I was there, and so she could take care of a child while I was teaching someone else. And that was a beautiful situation for us, and it was very beneficial for her as well. You could use, like I said, a neighbor. You could swap off with other homeschool moms, let someone come into your home and help. My husband in one season was able to take 1 or 2 days a week. Unfortunately, he was working weekends, but 1 or 2 days during the school week, he was home with the baby when I did school. And that was such a wonderful thing that I could give her at least 1 or 2 days a week, focused attention. And that's when we would do more in-depth stuff. That's when we would do more hands-on stuff. That's when we would do the things where she was struggle. We would review and we would strengthen skills when Dad was there to be the reinforcements and help with the baby. Other times he would come home from work and I would say, okay, I need you to take the baby so we can finish this lesson we didn't finish earlier. Oh, it's been a hard day. I need your help with this. I'm going to go take the baby in here. You finish math. And so whichever way that works, I enlisted his help, and he was a great help during that season. Also, another twist on that is one of my older daughters, actually, when I had this sweet little baby at home, she went to my grandmother's house, and my grandmother helped her with math, and my grandmother taught her some home ec skills, and they did cooking together. And my Nana helped her. They did a family research paper. So my daughter and I looked up all these different questions about family history, and then she took those questions to my grandmother's. She interviewed my grandmother, and she wrote this, is actually a book about my grandmother and her life, and how she grew up on the farm in the 30s, and all the different experiences, and how my grandfather proposed, and her going to college, and all of these things. And she wrote about that in a book. So she wasn't helping with the baby, she was actually helping with a school-aged child. So enlist help. Whichever way, get creative here, but I know that there are people in your life that God has put there that can help you. Tip number 10 is to have a grace-filled mindset. Now, this is slightly different than flexibility. Flexibility is what you do, but I feel like the mindset is so important here of grace. Just giving yourself grace in this season, giving your school-aged children grace in this season, and giving your sweet little baby grace in this season. Know that this is a short season, and it will not last forever. Know that things are not going to go perfectly in this season, but know that your children are learning. They may be learning more life skills than academics in this season, but they are learning academics, and they are learning important things like family, love, perseverance, independence, patience, mentorship. They are learning, and they are growing, and you're growing their character in this season. And those are such important things that are absolutely priceless. So this might not look the way that you want it to, but know that it is still a positive and productive season. And maybe you're going to have to shift to do things like unschooling, or maybe you're going to have to do more hands-on or less hands-on. Maybe you're going to have to do more discussions. Maybe you're going to get to do more field trips in this season. Whatever it is, continue to have that grace-filled mindset as you operate in flexibility and as you just do what's best for all of your sweet little ones. Lastly, Mama, I just want to encourage you. Homeschooling is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So don't compare your journey to other people's. This season is a little bit more about survival. You know, some seasons are like that. You've got a sick loved one you're caring for, or there's a crisis going on, or you've got this baby, and it's okay. Learning is still going to happen. It is still happening. And your children are watching you. They're watching you model patience and resilience and love. They're watching you model grace and give them grace and give the baby grace. And these are lifelong lessons. So remember that, and remember this is just a season, and your little ones are going to grow up so quickly. You want to make sure that when you look back on this season, that you have cherished the moments of it. I encourage you, don't miss the moments. There's such beauty in this season. So embrace it, enjoy it, and lean into it. If this video encouraged you or gave you a few new ideas, I would love to hear from you. Please drop a comment and let me know what resonated with you the most, or what your biggest challenge is right now. I promise you, I read every comment and I respond to you. And don't forget to subscribe so that you will get more real-life homeschool tips, encouragement, and support for the season that you're in. And if you're brand new to homeschool or still on the fence about homeschooling, I've got a gift for you. I have a free online course for new homeschool parents. It's 8 short video lessons to help you to get started with the first decisions about homeschool and getting your firm footing and getting started on the right track. So click on the link in the description below to enroll for that. Happy homeschooling.